Hello and welcome. My name is Janara Henderson, and I guide mothers through the mental and emotional transition of motherhood. What many don't realize is a real developmental stage called matrescence. In my work, mothers are seen first, educated second, and supported always. And I don't just teach mothers, I teach their village too, because maternal mental health is not an individual responsibility, but rather a collective one. It's the system that we build around her. Today, our topic is relationships because matrescence doesn't just change you, it reorganizes your entire relational system. In the last episode, we talked about how identity, how motherhood can make you feel like you don't recognize yourself anymore. Here's the part that hurts even more. When your identity shifts, your relationships have to shift too. And not everyone shifts at the same speed. Before motherhood, your partnership may have felt balanced in ways that you didn't even question. But after birth and sleep deprivation enters the room, and hormones and mental load and invisible labor, and suddenly things that used to feel so small feel so massive. Not because you're dramatic, but because the whole system has changed and everybody has to adapt to that. Research consistently shows that relationship strain increases in early parenthood. Why is that? Well, because the world expectations shift. There is now a human being that depends on you and your partner. The cognitive load for you increases dramatically, and mothers disproportionately carry the invisible load. Sleep deprivation also lowers emotional regulation, which also gets amplified by stress and conflict. So when a couple argue more after a baby, it's not a moral failure. It's a structural shift that is happening and it needs to be talked about. And matrescence is not an individual experience. It's relational because everybody around us is going to be affected by it. Now, let's talk about something that doesn't really get enough attention. Mental load, track from feedings, appointments, schedules, diaper, dentist appointment, doctor's appointment, you name it. Okay. Those are all the mental load, the invisible load that we all carry that nobody else does but us. And when one person is the default manager of everything, resentment builds, especially if it's not talked about. It's overloaded and it all affects our mental health. And it's not just partners either. Parents and in laws might also step in differently depending on how their parenting journey was. A lot of grandparents, in laws, they feel that since I suffered, you gotta suffer too. If I wasn't able to ask for help, you shouldn't be able to ask for help either. I have to do it alone. Well, you gotta do it alone too. I did it all by myself. Why do you need help? Why do you need support? When it comes to parents and in-laws, they may step in differently. Boundaries that never existed suddenly become necessary. And friendships shift based on life stage. Some people show up, others disappear. So when a mother feels supported, mother feels unsupported. She internalizes it. But I want to say this clearly. A mother struggling in isolation is not a weak woman. She is a woman in an unsupported system. So if you felt resentful and you feel like you're carrying more, if ever felt unseen in your own home, that does not mean that you don't love your family. It means that something is shifting. It means that matrescence is rebalancing your life because you now have other priorities that have to come in front of other priorities that you already had. But I want to be firm in my support in saying this. Support is not optional. You need support from somewhere, from someone, from something. Because if we don't get support, this is when matrescence can go down and head into PMADs or perinatal mood and anxiety disorders. If this resonated with you, stay with me. We've talked about hormones, brain changes, identity, and now relationships. Next, we're going to go in deeper into how motherhood shifts your values and worldview. And subscribe to my channel if you want motherhood explained in a way that makes you feel seen first, educated second, and supported always. If you love a mother, this series is for you too. Because maternal mental health isn't an individual responsibility, but a collective one. And you are not meant to do this alone.